Welcome to Sugar Pills, a practical guide to self-care, where your host, writer, actor, and producer Candy Washington helps you live a more joyful life with a cheeky dash of pop culture news. Be sure to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and join the conversation on Instagram at Candy Washington. Let's go!
Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington, and I'm just so grateful that you're going to spend a little time with me to talk about the Real Housewives of Potomac. Dun, 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 dun. That's right, Reunion Part 1 has dropped, so let's get into it. But before we do, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share with a friend, because a kiki is always better with community. So let me know, where are you watching from? Put it in the comment box, put down, like your name, where you're from, where you're watching, who was best dressed. That is a big one for the reunion. Who do you think was the best dressed? I know I thought it was kind of a tie between Mia and Escala, but that's no surprise since Escala brings it all of the time, super hard. She brings it fashion-wise. And one piece of housekeeping before we dive into it, I just updated my emojis for my community. So I have all new emojis, all fresh content. They're really cute. I have one that says yes, 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 self-care, self-love, other really fun sayings that we do here in the Candy Cane gang. So check it out, join the community, get some perks. And this weekend, I'm gonna do a members only self-care session. You guys can get some one-on-one time with me. So join our community and you can join us for our members only self-care session this Saturday or Sunday. I'll keep you guys posted on that. But with that, let's get into it. Let's see what you guys are coming in. Hey, HU Angel 1 says, hi, Candy. Hey, how are you? How are you doing, sweetheart? What's going on? Darren Hood says, hey, love, how are you? That's right, you guys. As you come in, be sure to drop your candy canes. Let me know where you're watching from and join the conversation. Yes, and as you can see, no more Avatar. I'm back in California. I spent 2 weeks back home with my family, which was so nice, but no more Avatar. We're here. It's me. Hi. All right, you guys, so let's get into it. Hey, Claudette, what is going on? She says, hi, Candy. Hey, Claudette, how are you? What's up? Oh, you guys, I might have a few unpopular opinions during this recap. If you read the title, it says, in defense of Andy Cohen. Nobody come for me. Remember, be respectful in the chat. I might have a couple of unpopular opinions when it comes to Andy Cohen, but you guys know I'm going to keep it 100. I'm going to keep it real, and I'm going to tell you what I actually think about what he's doing when it comes to Candice versus Erica and all of that stuff. So we will definitely be getting into it when it comes to that. So yeah, let's jump into it. I'm not going to go frame by frame of the reunion of what happened since we were all there and we all saw it. So I'll just jump into some of the highlights of it. Okay, so let's get started. All right. When Wendy said that Giselle was not Van Jones's type, it sent me, and she was like, because he likes women of integrity. I was like, yes, Wendy, yes. He also likes white women as well. And I thought that's what she was going to say, but I thought it was much classier that she said he likes women of integrity, therefore Giselle is not his type. And I mean, no lies detected. Giselle continuously lies, and she got called out for her fake timeline when it came to her alleged relationship with Jamal, aka Pastor Holy Whore. What it showed me was that her entire relationship with him was fake and clearly for a storyline. She didn't know when they broke up. She admitted that they were not exclusive. Oh, he was seeing other people. She could see other people. That's not a relationship, sweetheart. That's not a relationship. It's not. That's why Jamal lived in your phone. It was fake and phony and made up for the cameras. And when you're in a real relationship with someone, you know when you broke up with them. It's not wishy-washy. It's not all over the place. You're not okay with them dipping it and doing it with any other person in the world when you're actually with someone. Giselle was lying. She was doing the most, and she got caught out for it. Point blank, period. What else happened with Giselle? And I agree, Giselle is super guarded, because she's scared to be honest, not just with other people, but honest with herself. And I think the most authentic and truthful thing that she said was that she has put a wall up, and she did kind of go into defense mode because she was scared that if she let it out, she would crumble. So I do get that, but there comes a time where you have to deal with all of that stuff, because what you're doing to protect yourself will end up sabotaging you. And I think that's where Giselle has been. She's been stuck in that space for a really long time. The women are saying it. The audience is saying it. Her children are saying it. Giselle, you need to go talk to someone and really work all that stuff out and stop trying to gaslight us with your fake storyline. You weren't with Jamal. You never were. Stop with the antics. Hey, you guys in the chat. Let's say hi. Hey, Andrea Harvey. She says, hey, Candy. How are you, sweetheart? What is up? Hey, Humble Beauty. She says, hi, Candy. Hey, hey. Darren Hood says, Giselle got caught. She did. She got caught. Professor Wendy came through. She was like, actually, that timeline doesn't seem right to me. Sorry. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Wrong. Incorrect. Wendy came and she was like fire. But did you guys catch when Wendy told Mia to shut up and Mia just took it? I was like, what was that about? First of all, is there a beef between Wendy and Mia? Like, why was Wendy coming for Mia like that? Like, that took me kind of off guard. And then also, why did Wendy just take it? Like, why didn't she say something back? That I did not get and understand, but I hope you guys caught that. Okay, so when it comes to Andy Cohen, let's just get into it. Let's get funky with it. Why I'm in defense of him. I feel like last reunion, right, he got a lot of slack. He didn't do his homework. He clearly didn't watch the show. He wasn't paying attention to what was going on in social media. Production clearly thought that there was going to be this big backlash against Monique, and then that didn't happen. So he got all his slack for that, which I think was warranted. This reunion, I do think that he did his homework. I think he watched the show. I think that he was more in tune to what the audience was thinking, what their temperature was. So I want to acknowledge that. Again, it's his job. So I'm not giving somebody kudos for doing their job, but I do want to acknowledge that. And I didn't understand why he was getting all of this backlash when he said that he felt that Candice provoked Monique, when the majority of people said that. The majority of the audience agree with that. And that is also my personal opinion. I do think that Candice provoked Monique. Am I absolving Monique of her actions? No, of course not. But can I look objectively at what happened? Then yeah, I do think Candice provoked the situation. And then again, with this season, she provoked that situation with Mia. She was the first person to throw something. She threw the lettuce at Mia. She had her hands in the face. She even brought up the altercation. I've been here before, talked about Mia's mom. She literally was the one provoking, escalating, and agitating the situation. So I don't see why he got that backlash for that. He's also getting the backlash of saying, oh, how did he treat Erica versus how he treated Candice? I think that he actually asked Erica a lot of hard-hitting questions. I think he really was trying to hold her accountable. And I think he was doing the same thing with Candice. But I think the difference is, and I think it's a meaningful difference, is I think that the castmates hold Candice more accountable than the castmates of Beverly Hills held Erica more accountable. Like, Erica ran that reunion. I don't know why it was 4 parts. It could have been 2, whatever. But she ran that reunion. She bulldozed those women. Bulldozed over those women. They really didn't hold their ground. They really didn't stick it to her. It was kind of like fake. Like, it was like fake going after her, but not really. So when I saw that, I was really more disappointed in the ladies of Beverly Hills for not really standing their ground, for not really gunning for Erica. Like, why did she think that she could go on that reunion and have the authority to really carry the narrative? I think it was the ladies who, and I think that's what we're seeing, failed to truly hold Erica accountable. Yeah, Sutton said some stuff. Yeah, Garcelle said some stuff. But for what Erica is alleged and accused of doing, totally not enough. And for the way she speaks to the cast members, to the way she treats people, totally not enough. But when you see the women in Potomac, they don't cower with Candice. They hold her accountable. They go after her. They ask the questions. They co-sign what Andy is saying. So I think the discrepancy there really is how the castmates are holding them accountable differently rather than so much the questions that Andy Cohen is asking. Do I think that Andy has acted shady in the past? Of course, 100%. Do I think that there is always room for growth? Yes, I do, 100%. I was also watching another YouTuber doing a commentary, and they were talking about how Andy had said, that he had learned from the Real Housewives of Atlanta that when a Black woman stands up, that's a sign of aggression, or it's a sign of escalation or something like that. And they were kind of bashing him for saying that. They're like, oh, we're not monolithic. That was just how Portia was. That's not how all Black people are. I don't think he was saying it that way. I think he was more saying it in the sense of, I maybe didn't know what the cues were culturally, given what was going on. And this is what I learned from that experience. And this is what I learned from the women of Atlanta. So then when I was able to reflect and look back at what happened with Candice and Monique, I could then say, hey, oh, well, now I see how maybe Candice did provoke Monique in that situation. You know, and it's like, we can't have it both ways. We can't bash him when he has no type of perspective on what happens culturally in the Black community. But then when he actually then tries to educate himself and learn, then bash him for that too. And trust me, we all know Andy Cohen has said and done some problematic things, but I just think in this context, it's a little different. Okay, so that's kind of how I feel there. Let's see what you guys are saying. Do-do-do-do-do. Hey, Sandra. She says, hey, everyone. Hey, sweetheart. What is up? Hey, Humble Beauty. She says, I do think Candice plays victim 100%. She has her own issues, but does Andy get on the other housewives like that? I think Roni and that white lady dragged the lady by her hair. Oh, and no, you're thinking of Real Housewives of New Jersey, and you're right. It was, what's her face? Dragged Margaret by her ponytail. No, I agree 100%. I agree 100%. And the thing is, I do think Andy has been unfair or not as equal when it comes to each of the franchises and when it comes to each of the ladies. I agree with that 100%. But do I see him at least trying? Yes, I do. And Candice has a lot of issues. And this is another thing that I've been seeing about the whole Candice situation. People are talking about colorism. I stand by this. I've said it since the whole colorism thing came up. I do not think that there is a colorism issue going on when it comes to Candice versus anyone. I think it's a likability issue. Candice just is not likable. She comes across as very entitled. She comes across as very self-indulgent. She comes across as very emotionally stunted. And she's just a vile person. She says really cutthroat things, below the belt things, and then she doubles down on them. Are all the ladies messy? Yes. Are all the ladies shady? Yes. Do they all say something sometimes you're like, ugh, yes. But Candice takes it to a deeper level. And I found it very, very scary. Like borderline personality situation. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not trying to make fun of mental illness at all. So I'm not diagnosing anybody, and I'm not making light of it. But when she was at the reunion and she was saying, and again, this is just my opinion, this is all alleged, but when she was at the reunion and she was saying like, oh, I don't start, I just finish. And you're just mad because you can't handle my mouth or my tongue. And and like, to me, that was just really scary and really bizarre. She lacks the basic level of self-awareness. And she lacks the basic level of accountability and responsibility. Just because someone says something to you that you don't like doesn't justify you saying things that are abusive verbally and emotionally back, because what Candice says to people is disgusting. Wishing death, talking about going to hell, talking about their bodies and their sexuality and like their mothers and every vile thing that Candice has said is not justified. The reality is people can say things that you don't like. Doesn't give you the right to be verbally abusive. And there is a difference between someone saying something you don't like versus somebody being verbally abusive. Those are two different things. And I think time and time again, Candice has proven that she is verbally abusive. She's verbally abusive on the show, to the women, to her husband. She's verbally abusive on social media, to her own followers and to her own haters. There has to be a bottom to the petty. There is a difference between you said something that I didn't like versus you being verbally abusive. Example, exactly what happened on the show. Mia said something that Candice didn't like. She said, your music video is low budget. It was low budget, Candice. The whole production actually literally was low budget. Numerically, you spent $10,000 on a music video. Technically, that is low budget. That's the category it falls in. She told no lies. You didn't like the fact that she said that. Then you went on to verbally be abusive, calling her mother low budget continuously, and you're lying, Candice. You knew the story. And even after it was clear that you knew their mother's story, you continuously did it. You talked about her body, her forehead, her hands, her feet, calling her a man, making weird LGBTQ transphobic type comments regarding her. She then went in and talked about her being like a prostitute and a lady of the night, and people need to do all this, that, and the third. There is a difference. And that is why people don't like you, Candice. Not because of the color of your skin, but because you're not a likable person, period. And it also has nothing to do with the fact that you probably still live with your mother. Word on the street, allegedly, you, Chris, your mom, and your sister all live in that house together, and that your mom is still paying for stuff. That's not why we don't like you, Candice. We don't like you because of your personality. And you fail to take accountability that your personality needs a lot of work. That is why we don't like you. It has nothing to do with the color of your skin. It has nothing to do with the fact that your mother is in a position to pay your bills. There were a lot of people who have trust funds who are extremely likable and lovable people. You're just not one of them. Point blank, period. And I get so confused when people defend Candice. It blows my mind. Blows it. It's just gross. And then she doubles down on being verbally abusive to people. No. There's no excuse for that. People are allowed to say things that you don't like. Doesn't mean you get to be verbally abusive, and those are two different things, and she needs to learn the difference real quick. So let's see what else happened with them. You guys, when Karen said to Giselle, so you gave him consent to be with other women, so you consented to being the side chick? I lived. Oh, okay, so let's talk about this, right? So another theme that came up during the reunion was Karen allegedly bashing Giselle and Robin because they weren't in relationships, they didn't have men. Like somehow Karen was like, putting them down, saying, the reason why you're miserable, the reason why you're not happy is because you don't have a man. And everyone's like, why do you have to put a woman's worth with her relationship? Why do you have to always say something about that? I get it. Contextually, in and of itself, of course, a woman's worth is not connected to whether or not she has a man. It's not connected to whether or not she's in a relationship. Of course not. Obviously not. A man doesn't bring you happiness. A man does not indicate your value. Of course not. However, in defense of Karen, Giselle and Robin have no problem going after other people's relationships, husbands, marriages. Turnabout is fair play. You're going to go after Monique's husband. You're going to go after Karen's husband. You're going to go after Wendy's husband's Eddie. You're going to go after Michael. They have no problem, none, going after other people's husbands and relationships and marriages. But the moment you talk about them being single or in fake relationships, they get so precious and fragile. And oh my God, a woman's worth isn't tied to a man, blah, 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 blah. Well, turnabout's fair play. Keep their husband's name out of your mouth, and maybe Karen would keep the fact that you don't have a man out of her mouth. So yeah, I don't know. I'm Team Karen on that. Giselle and Robin, we've seen season after season, literally have no problem making fun of, talking about, going after, trying to destroy people's marriages and husbands and relationships. So don't get an attitude when someone comes after your relationship or non-relationship status. Turnabout's fair play. And I don't think Karen is actually the type of woman who thinks that another woman's worth is actually tied into a man. I don't think Karen thinks like that. I think Karen makes those jabs and makes those digs because A, it's low-hanging fruit. We all know Juan is not into Robin, and we all know Giselle was lying about being with Jamal. It's low-hanging fruit. It's an easy dig. So that's kind of what I think about that. But let's see what you guys are saying in the chat box. Yay. Okay. Hey, Humble Beauty. She goes, they stay on the show and do the same things. About the white housewife versus the black housewives. Yes, I agree 100%. Has there historically been favoritism and what's the word I'm looking for where it's like one group gets treated differently than the other group? Anyway, yes, historically it has been like that. But do I see that there's trying to be a shift? I do. And it starts with education, and it starts with learning, and it's about, trying. So I agree 100%. The white housewives have had the privilege to be violent, to be abusive, and not get the same stigma and consequences as the black housewives do. So I agree with you 100% with that. Hey, Ellen V, she says, good evening, everyone. Hey, how are you, sweetheart? Hey, Humble Beauty, she says, yes, exactly, Real Housewives of New Jersey. Yep. Hey, Rhonda Diva, she goes, I agree, Ashley can be mean as well, but she is likable. Candice isn't, and she's not self-aware. Exactly. I don't think it has anything to do with color. It has to do with Candice's personality. Hey, Humble Beauty, she says, agree. Darren Hood says, agree. Hey, Darren. Ellen V says, especially to her husband. Yeah, Candice is very, very verbally and emotionally abusive. And I know someone in my life who is exactly like Candice. They will literally say something to crush you and then be like, well, I'm allowed to say whatever I want, and it's your fault you can't keep up. No, it's not my fault. I'm not evil. It's your fault you're evil. Words are powerful. Words do have meaning, and words cut deep, and words hurt. That's why there is a thing called verbal abuse. Hello. Hey, Karen Fraser. She says she doesn't get it because she was raised saying, Mom, respond this way. She thinks it's normal. I agree 100%. She was raised by a verbally and emotionally abusive person. Even physically, didn't her mom pop her with the pocketbook? She probably deserved it, but you know what I mean. But look at how, and also verbal and emotional abuse isn't just saying, like calling names or saying like that. It's also the digs. It's the eroding of the self-esteem. It's the passive aggressiveness. It's the nastiness. It's the putting down. Like the way that Mrs. Dorothy, Candice's mom, was talking about Chris behind his back. That to me was emotionally abusive. And that's why Candice was on that couch crying with her Kleenexes again, talking about she doesn't know how to fix it in her family because Chris doesn't want to deal with the mom and she had to cuss her mom out, and then Chris's family doesn't want to deal with her or her mother. Her in-laws don't even like her at this point, is because your words are meaningful. Putting someone down, talking about somebody's reputation, gaslighting them, that's a big deal. It's messed up. Hey, Humble Beauty, wonder where she grew up, where you have to know how to argue, LOL. There are steps to it. Yeah, there's levels to this. There's level to this, and you have to have a bottom to your petty. Hey, Karen Fraser, she goes, my children are trust fund babies. Yes. And they don't act like this. I wouldn't allow it. 100%. That's the thing. It's not that Candice has money. Allegedly. Allegedly she has money. Let's put it that way. Or the fact that she isn't super light-skinned. It's literally her personality that stinks. And that is why people don't like her. That is why people come for her. And that's why she gets treated the way she gets treated. It is her personality. And she's just not a likable person. Hey, Ageless Bloom. She goes, Candice is a mean girl and makes her very unattractive. I agree 100%. Candice is a mean girl, and it does make her unattractive. It has nothing to do with the color of her skin at all. Hey, Sonia. Hey, Sonia. She goes, Ashley and Candice are the similar. Ashley understands the assignment. Candice does not. I agree. I think Ashley understands the assignment. I think Ashley comes to stir the pot and make the mess. Ashley's there to get that check and get out. She's not being messy on social media. Sure, she can be, she can make her little digs here and there, but it's a different level. It's a different sting. It's a different jab than Candice. And I think Candice is really rooted in personalizing everything. She takes everything extremely personally, where it's not that personal or that deep. And then she lashes out from her own wounding and from her own hurtness. And I also wanted to say, I almost forgot Ashley was even at the reunion. That's how much I didn't even... That's kind of how I felt about Ashley this season. She came in a couple times and stirred the pot, but I could have taken her or leave her this season. Also at the reunion, but I did find it funny how Ashley was kind of judging Mia for having. Well, I don't know if let me take that back. I don't know if Ashley was judging Mia, but I was thinking about the comparison between Mia and Ashley. How some of the girls, not all of the girls, obviously, some of the girls kept trying to, I think it was just Candice. I think it was just Candice trying to judge Mia that she met her husband at not an escort, not a strip club, but it was like that sort of gentleman's club, whatever. And then I really also did not like how the women were, I think it was a viewer question, but the women chimed in about how Mia was saying she was self-made, but her husband helped her and invested in her. Let's dive into that for a second. Oh, wait, I have to say hi to some people, then we'll dive into that. Hey, Sunny T. Hello, Candy and the Candy Canes. Hey, beautiful. Do-do-do-do. All right, so let's dive into that. First off, I am so sick and tired of people acting like you're not allowed to have a unit with your husband. When you get married, if it's within your marriage, his money becomes your money. It's a union of the two people. So who cares if Gordon invested and supported his wife? That to me is a beautiful thing. If I was Mia, I would have owned it. I would have been like, you're damn right. My husband invested in me. You're damn right. My husband gave me the startup money. You're damn right. My husband supported me being a businesswoman because he's my husband and that's what he should do. I am so sick and tired of people trying to tear down women when they get support from their husband. Did anybody tear down Ashley when she opened up a restaurant with her husband, Michael? No, it was just them opening a restaurant. They were obviously shady about the food and this, that, and the third, but nobody had an issue about that, right? Nobody did. So why was there such an issue that Gordon helped support his wife? That's what a husband should do. She supports him. She held the house down. She has the kids, all of that stuff. What is the problem? I think, and again, I really hate saying Black community. I don't like all that, oh, in the Black community, because it happens in all communities. But I think that when it comes to Black women, there is this misconception, and to me, it's a dangerous misconception that in order for us to be validated, we have to have gotten it on our own. We have to have been independent. We have to be self-made. Why? What is the problem with having your husband support you? If that was in Beverly Hills or the OC, that would have never even crossed somebody's mind. It would have been expected. Actually, to be honest, if the husband didn't help the wife, that would have been a big deal. Oh my God, he didn't give you the startup money. He didn't invest in your swim line, in your boutique. It's expected. Oh, Mauricio didn't buy you this new house, this new property. It's expected in certain communities for their husbands to support them, and it's not frowned upon. It's actually aspired to. In those communities, you aspire to marry men that can support you and help you. But for some reason, when it's a Black woman whose husband is in a position to support her, all of a sudden she needs to justify herself, and somehow her successes are less valid. And I think that's BS. And it really, really irritated me. If you are a woman and your husband or even your boyfriend wants to help you and support you and invest in you, that is what they should do. And it does not invalidate your success. It does not invalidate your capability. It just means you actually have a partner in life. And that really pissed me off. Nobody gave Ashley smoke for that. And truth be told, yeah, Mia met Gordon in a gentleman's club, right? But Ashley was a hostess or a waitress at Michael's restaurant. So she met him at her place of work too. And then she went on to marry the boss. I'm not saying she was taking her top off at the restaurant or anything like that, but I'm just saying, I'm a pretty liberal person, so I don't see a problem with a woman owning herself. And if that's what she wants to do, that's what she wants to do. But I don't see the major difference. Mia was at work. She met a boss. Ashley was at work and she met her boss. So I just don't see why they're giving Mia such a hard time. She should do that. I don't think anybody would blink twice if, what's Karen's husband name? Ray. If Ray gave Karen some money for her new essential home line or her candles line or whatever she's doing, no one would be like, oh, Karen, you're not a self-made woman. No one would say that. So I mean, I don't get it. And that really kind of grind my gears. But let me see what you guys are saying in the chat box about it. Yay. Hey, Darren, he goes, words are weapons. Yes, they are. Words are weapons, and they are very, very dangerous. Hey, Mona Nicole Boutique TV. She says, hello, all. Hey, sweetheart. What is up? Hey, Takia Warren. She goes, hey, Katie Canes. Hey, sweetheart. What's up? Hey, Sunny T. Words can do more damage than physical injuries. 1,000%. I'm telling you, yeah, it's so true. Hey, Mona Nicole Boutique TV. Candice needs to have a conversation with Miss Dorothy. Enough is enough. I agree 100%. Hey, Randa Diva, Miss Dorothy allowing the other ladies to engage with her in negative talk and gossip about her own daughter is abusive. 1,000%. Extremely abusive. Hey, Takia Warren, Candace's mother damaged her mentally. I agree. Hey, you guys are agreeing with each other. Hey, P. What's up? He says, hey, Candy and the Candy Canes. Hey. Claudette says Mia is a liar. I think Mia is wishy-washy. I think she's kind of janky, but this is the thing. The reason why I don't consider Mia a liar is because I don't think what she says has any ill intent. I don't think she's trying to mislead or deceive or deceit people. I think that she's just kind of wacky. I think she's just wacky like that. I think liar is a very strong word. And I really put intent behind lying. I think she was lying about her age, because she probably has lied about her age because she works in entertainment. A lot of women do. Unfortunately, we live in a society that is very sexist and very ageist. And a lot of times women feel pressure not to be honest about their age because they feel that they will be judged by it. So that's why I think Mia was off point about her age in the beginning of the season. And I think that she's had a lot of trauma. So she probably is fuzzy on stuff, but I don't think she's a liar. Hey, Carla Williams, she says, exactly. Yay. Hey, HU Angel 1, exactly. Hey, Karen Fraser, you better go for the one that can help you elevate. Exactly, yes. Hey, Facts Counselor, exactly. They did the same to Monique, saying it was Chris' money. Thank you. Thank you. It's not Chris's money. When you're married, it's their money. It's our money. 100%. When Monique married Chris, she married him for better or for worse, for richer or for poor. They just happened to be richer. And to me, I think when people say that, it's a jealousy thing. Clearly, the women there were jealous. Giselle, Robin, hello. It's a jealousy thing. Hey, H2 Angel, he'd be putting his money where his mouth is as supporting his wife. Exactly. Exactly. Let me tell you this. If I was married and my husband didn't invest in me, we would no longer be married, because that is not just a requirement. It's a standard. It's a standard. Why in the world would you be married to someone who doesn't want to invest in you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and yes, financially? Hey, Sunny T, didn't most of them get monetary support from the husbands except Candice? Yes, 100%. 100%. Hey, Taki Warren, jealous. Oh, oops, sorry. Jealous, that's what it said about Mia's husband support her. They got big mad. Exactly, they did. They got big mad because her husband is supporting her. Hey, Foxy Counselor, and it's ironic that the show is called Housewives, but your husband can't invest in your business. Boom. No lies detected. Exactly. If you're on a show called The Real Housewives, the premise is that your husband supports you financially. That is the actual definition of a housewife. And then they had Mia up there trying to justify everything. I mean, I know she was probably put on the spot, but I really wish she would have said, you're damn right my husband invested in me. Isn't this The Real Housewives of Potomac? I'm confused. They just wish they had it like that, but they don't. Hey, Randy D, but she goes, I give me a lot of credit. She had a rough life. Exactly. Caught a break when she met Gordon and made the most of it. Kudos to her. I agree 100%. I really, really like Mia. I really, really do. Hey, Huang Angel 1, they would give Michael all the credit in the world if he invested in an idea of Ashley's. Exactly. They treat it very differently. Very, very differently. They'd be like, oh, Michael's supporting you. Oh, he's there for you. Blah, 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 blah. All of this stuff, right? But when it comes to Gordon and Mia, they have a problem with it. And you can still be a self-made woman and still get support from your community. And a part of your community is your partner. Would it make a difference if her investor was someone from, you know, Silicon Valley and she went out and had to pitch it to somebody and they gave her the money to start it up? Would that make people happy? No, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Hey, Sonia. She goes, Mia is from the wrong side of the tracks and she is winning. They are jealous. I agree 1,000%. Hey, Sunny T, Candy, your face is glowing. You look beautiful as usual. Ah, thank you. I got a new camera. So this one I think is more true to life. Let me know if you like it. I got a new camera. Thank you, Sunny T. I appreciate that. Hey, Takia Warren, she goes, Candy, you think Giselle actually dating Van Jones? No. Be not into black woman. He from my hometown is married to a Becky. No, okay, so Takia, yeah, no, I don't think that she's actually dating Van Jones. I think that Andy threw that out being facetious, and I think that she said that back being facetious, like, yeah, it is Van Jones. I loved Wendy's response. Well, you're not his type. He dates women of integrity. Dun, 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 dun. Again, I don't think that Wendy was trying to say white women have integrity. I think she was just trying to say, Giselle, you don't have integrity. But you're right. I think Van Jones' ex-wife is white, and I think he's into white girls. Yeah. So let's see what else is up. Shout out to my chat. Shout out to my candy cans. Thank you for holding me down. If you guys have been having fun, like this video, subscribe, share with a friend, leave a comment. If you're catching this on the replay, definitely read a comment. Let me know what you think and join our community. We got some new emojis. We're doing some members only self-care sessions. So join us. All right, let's see what else is up. Let's see what else happened. Okay, so we went over the whole colorism thing. I don't think that is a deal. What else happened? Candice is delusional. Remember how she told Mia that she should be grateful that she didn't go in on her more? Candice, you're wacky, super delusional. Who says that? Everybody gasped and laughed because that is just absolutely whack AF. Candice, you really need some true therapy, and please don't go to your mom because your mom is clearly not the one to go through at all. You know who we haven't talked about because they're boring and need to go? Robin. Did you guys notice Robin literally said nothing this reunion except to defend Giselle again? Robin, this is a PSA. You're missing the assignment that we have given to you. Robin, your assignment is to find your own personality, your own voice, and to get your head out of Giselle's butt. That is what your assignment is, and you're currently getting an F. Literally the only thing Robin said was yelling at Wendy and defending Giselle. She's allowed to respond how she responds. Again, not your fight, Robin. Again, nobody was talking to you, Robin. Again, you're getting the smoke that's meant for Giselle, Robin. Make it make sense, girl. Make it make sense. It's ridiculous. Oh, hey, Takia. She goes, Candy, love your honest commentary. Thank you. That's right, you guys. Put it in the chat box. What do you want to talk about? What were some of the other aha moments for you guys, or rivalries, or what's going on in the streets? I hear in the streets that Candice is getting dragged. So apparently she got dragged by whatever woman is replacing Wendy Williams. She got dragged on that. Apparently Candice is going head to head with Andy and the producers and all of that stuff. I think Robin is too with the wand stuff. So who even knows? We didn't even talk about Chris Bassett. I am team Chris Bassett all the way. Hey, young, rich, skinny. Candice was right. She could have went in on Mia, but she was nice on her. And I want Robin back next season. But if Monique decides to come back, Robin can move to the back. Oh, okay. Let's get into it. Candice was right that she could have went on Mia more, but that is disgusting in the sense of, oh yeah, I stabbed you, but I could have shot you. That doesn't make it any better. You're still being abusive. You're still being trifling. Talking about somebody's mother in any context that is negative, we all know is a no-no. We all know you don't go there. And then Candice doubling down on that was super disgusting. And then we see in the promos that she says, your mama again to Mia on the show. Someone needs to bop her, not me. I don't believe in violence, but I wouldn't be mad if she got mollywopped again because her mouth is writing checks. Her wig and her face cannot cash. Point blank, period. So Candice really needs to back up. I wonder if her marriage will survive. I've been saying this in all of my recaps. The way Candice handled the Chris situation this season was dead wrong. She never had his back. She left him exposed and open. She's questioning his manhood, his livelihood. Her mother strategically tried to destroy her marriage. I mean, I don't know how you survive that. I don't know how you get better from that unless they're in couples therapy with a really good therapist and they're both committed to making it work. But I don't really see how you continue in a healthy relationship that way. It just seems really toxic and really bad. And honestly, I'm on Team Chris. I am. I really feel bad for him. I think that he was really trying to hold her down. And every time she had the opportunity to have his back, she threw him under the bus. With her mother, with Giselle, with the girls, everything. At the music video, everything. Threw him under the bus. That's why he showed up at the video in his chef's apron, was because he was trying to get back some of his manhood. He is purposeful and passionate about cooking and being a chef and all of that stuff. So he showed up. It's like if you were dating a police officer who got laid off because of the pandemic or something, and he was trying to help you out, and everybody in your life and to the world was just like, oh, he's a deadbeat. He's riding your coattails. Oh, is he on your mama's payroll and all of this stuff? And then he shows up in his full policeman's outfit at an event because Chris was trying to hold on to and show his manhood. Because the entire season he was being emasculated, basically saying he wasn't man enough, he wasn't good enough. I don't know what marriage survives that. Just saying. I don't want Robin back. She really has no place for me on the show. I thought, unless she really shows out in the last 3 episodes of the reunion, Robin can go. I'd rather have a Scala any day. And I would love to have Monique back. Love to have Monique back. And on that point, I was listening to another YouTuber who was talking about their perspective was, oh, you guys only want Monique back because you want her to fight. You want her to be violent on the show. You want her to fight. And I completely disagree with that. They're like, oh, nobody supports Monique. Now they just want her back so she can fight and so she can be violent. I don't think that at all. I don't think any of us want Monique back so that she can fight. I think we want Monique back because she was genuinely an interesting person. She had a unique perspective. She actually is a real housewife that has actual money. She does have her own business. She does the Mealy Eve Essentials, which is like really cute, and like the oils and all that. She has adorable children. She has a husband who loves and supports her. She's funny. She can throw the shade. She's beautiful. I would love to have Monique back. And I don't think it has anything to do with her being violent. Do we want her to be shady if Candice is still there? Sure. Do we want her to really kind of put Candice in her place? Of course. That's the drama. That's the TV. But I don't think it has anything to do with anybody actually wanting more violence. We don't want that. There's a difference between being able to understand circumstances that created a violent situation versus wanting to see violence. Those are 2 different things. When it comes to the Monique and Candice situation, do I understand the circumstances of how that got escalated to that point? Yes. Do I agree with it? No. Do I want to see it? No. But do I understand it? Yes. It was 2 people who used to be very close, and they both felt betrayed by each other. Neither one of them had an honest conversation with each other to fix it, and that there was a lot of underlying issues, a lot of underlying problems, a lot of miscommunication, a lot of passive aggressiveness, a lot of taunting, a lot of provoking on both sides, in my opinion, on more on one side than the other. Do I understand the circumstances of how it popped off? Yes. Is that why we want Monique back? No. But I do want Monique back. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat box. Okay. Young Rich says, replaced by Wendy Williams. Well, I gotta be transparent. I saw a headline that said Wendy Williams' replacement was going in on Candice. I know Wendy Williams herself is still on hiatus, but her show is back. And I think that they've been like rotating guests and hosts and things like that. So I think that's more of what they were saying, whoever was like a rotating host. But of course, obviously, you can't replace Wendy Williams. Like, she's Wendy Williams. Hey, Young Rich, did you change your hair? No, I got a new camera. So that's what you're seeing. I have a new camera, and my camera is more true to life. But thanks. Hey, Taki Warren, Nicki going to ask Robin is Giselle's are lovers. I think Nicki will be at part 2 of the reunion. Can't wait. Yes. All right. So PSA. Barbs, don't come after me. If you are a Nicki Minaj Barb, do not come after me. I don't want the smoke. I don't want it. I'm not Candice. I'm not inviting it. I'm not asking for it. I don't want it. Am I the biggest Nicki Minaj fan? No. Given things with her husband and her brother and all of that stuff, right? But putting that in a box aside, I am excited to see what she brings to part 4. Do I think that there were other influential Black women who could have taken that spot that would have been a better fit? Yes. Rihanna, I would have preferred Rihanna any time of the day. I think Rihanna would have done a fabulous job. And I think there's other people who could have done it too. But we have Nicki, so we have Nicki. And if Nicki really asks Giselle and Robin, if they're in a relationship, I'm here for it. I want to see their response. I want to see their body language, because we all know they shared that hotel room when they went from Wendy's cottage or whatever Wendy was doing, and they went to that hotel room. They were definitely in the same room. 100%. I don't care if anybody says Giselle was lying, and she was definitely in the same room. So I want to see what they say. Hey, Sunny T. Candice is just vile. Her words are not messy. They are venomous. Agree 100%. Candice is very vile. Candice, if you ever watch this, don't come for me. I know I'm kind of sending for you, but don't come. I don't want it. But that's why people don't like you. You're not a likable person. And this season, the work was showing. The work was showing when you had Chris's children come in as props. I'm not being disrespectful to children at all, but it really seemed like, where are they now? They were just there for the first episode, and then we never saw his kids again. What happened to that? They were literally there for your props because you're trying to rebrand your reputation. We saw the work when you cried on cue and said the same exact monologue when you got signed again with your new music agency. Last season, you said the same exact monologue. You cried at the same exact beats when you allegedly signed with Chucky, but apparently that wasn't real. That was fake because the lawyers didn't like the contract. Sure. And then again, with just how nasty you were to Chris, how nasty you were to Mia, how nasty you were to everybody. The work is showing, and we're tired of it. Hey, Young Rich. So apparently Toya Bush Harris bopped Dr. Heavenly upside the head in the upcoming Married to Medicine season. Did you hear about it? No, I haven't heard about that. And again, for the last 2 weeks, I've been back home in the country, so I'm catching up on a lot of stuff. Okay, you guys know I don't rock with Dr. Heavenly. I think she's mean-spirited. I think she's evil. I think she has such low self-esteem and such low confidence that she lashes out at anybody that she feels threatened by. I'm not here for Heavenly. Again, I don't condone violence, but I'm not mad at it. If that is true, I want to see. I don't want Toya to get in trouble. I don't want Toya to have put her hands on anybody because, again, we have to use our words in a caring, compassionate way. Even when you are shading, even when you are going back and forth and being messy, you can be messy and have fun shade. You don't have to go for the jugular and really try and tear people down, right? So I hope that it stays there. And I really hope Toya did not put her hands on someone. But again, do I understand it when it comes to Dr. Heavenly? I do. Hey, Takia Warren. She goes, I followed Chris on TikTok. He's been showing his cooking skills. He's pretty laid back. His food looks delicious. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I like Chris. I really do. I like Chris a lot. Hey, Cotty. She goes, hey, hon, I'm here walking the dog, but we'll be back soon. Yay. Have fun with your pooch, Cotty. Love you. Hey, Young Rich, Monique only got into one fight and people think she's Muhammad Ali. She's more than that. Exactly. And you also have to remember the context of it. If you're under this pressure where you've had miscarriages, right? And then you finally get pregnant, and then you have people that you think are your friends or people that you think are in your corner who are literally plotting to say that your miscarriage was the A word, and this plotting to say that your child is actually fathered by your trainer, and they're plotting this literally intentionally behind your back. And then someone who claims to be your really close friend doesn't actually come and tell you, but they tell somebody else. Candice didn't tell Monique about that. Candice told Karen. Karen told Monique, but Candice told everybody on her Instagram Live. So you went on your Instagram Live and you told the whole world about how you and the other ladies were conspiring to bring this rumor on the show, but you didn't tell your friend. And then you wonder why your friend doesn't mess with you, and you wonder why you don't have a friendship with someone, and then you wonder why you got mollywopped. Boom, Candice. Boom. Hey, Diva1675. She goes, Jersey's the most violent franchise and they get praised for it. Girl. Yes, we were talking about that earlier. There is definitely different ways that each franchise, and I'm going to be 100 with it, gets treated based on their race when it comes to violence and aggression and abuse. New Jersey Housewives, you're 100% right, Diva. They get praised for it. It becomes memes. Andy jokes about it. It becomes iconic. Oh, what an iconic moment, right? But when the Black Housewives display that same level of anger or violence or whatever, then all of a sudden that's a commentary that all Black women are angry and aggressive and ghetto and violent and this, that, and the third. And they suffer way more consequences, way more Black backlash, way more stigma. Brandy slapped Lisa Vanderpump in Beverly Hills. Nothing happened to her. Brandy threw a glass of wine in Eileen's face. Nothing happened to her. What's the girl's name in New Jersey? I forget her name. She used to be Teresa's friend, and she went and she took Margaret by her ponytail and pulled her down and dragged her. That happened. And when Teresa told her to do it, Teresa flipped a table. Like, all of these things have happened on these shows. Lisa Rinna hit down a wine glass and had glass shard in her hand. It was egging on Kim Richards. Nothing happened to her. Erica has been verbally abusive and violent to everybody. Nobody called her a bully. Nobody held her accountable. Nothing happened to her. There is definitely a discrepancy with how the white housewives are treated when it comes to violence. And by violence, I mean physical and verbal, versus the way the Black housewives are. 100%. But I do think that the more that we talk about it, the more we shine a light on it, the more that can change. I don't condone violence in any sense. But I do understand that all women, regardless of our color, experience the full spectrum of humanity. We all get angry. We all get pissed off. But we all get happy and joyful and loving and supporting, all of those things. And it's not fair to dehumanize one race when we are human and praise another race when they're human as well. See what you guys are saying. Hey, Claudette. She goes, hi, Claudie B. Hey, hey, Foxy Cal. So she goes, yep. And then Sunny T says, agreed. Hey, Takia Warren. She goes, Candice just a Monique life, and Ashley caused both of their husbands because they got stable income. Just my opinion. I agree. I think Candice 100% is jealous of Monique's life. I also think Candice is jealous of Ashley's life. And I think that this is the thing. Candice is so emotionally stunted that she really wants to, I really think she wants to be friends with Ashley. She wants to be friends with Monique. But she's so emotionally stunted that when she doesn't think in her mind that she's getting what she wants, She lashes out and she has temper tantrums and she wants your attention, whether it's good or bad. And I really think that's what's going on with her. Hey, Diva1675. Michael Rappaport was the host who went in on Candice. Oh, got you. I agree going in on Candice, but Michael Rappaport is a little problematic. He's kind of one of those guys that think, well, I sleep with Black women so I can say what I want about them. Kind of one of those people. And it's just like, no, sweetheart, just because you like our flavor doesn't give you the right to think that you have a commentary on who we are. I don't like the way that he disrespected Kenya. I thought he was very mean and rude. You know, he's kind of one of those guys where it's like, oh, I sleep with Black women so I can talk about the culture. No, you can't. Hey, Diva1675. Nikki's asking fan questions that Andy can't. Ooh, good point. Hey, Young Rich, Michael Rappaport, gross. I wonder why I didn't watch. Yeah, he's very, very problematic. Plus he's a little bit too much in women's business. Hey, Nicole K, maybe they went back to school. Oh, the kids? In the pandemic? Weren't everybody being homeschooled? And even if they went back to school, wouldn't they come home after school? Or are they at boarding school? Hey, Takia Warren, Candy, who you think is the worst housewife, Candice or Kenya Moore? Candice, 100%. And I'm going to tell you why. Kenya, as much as she can stir the pot, do shady stuff, and be super messy, Kenya understands the assignment. She is showing up. She's cast as the villain. She's playing that role, and she's going home, and she's cashing her check. Candice, on the other hand, is an actual villain. She's not playing one on TV. That's why she has no bottom to her petty, and that's why it never turns off. You don't see Kenya on Twitter. She says weird stuff when she wants attention, right? But she doesn't say like nasty, abusive. She's not going back and forth with other fans and followers and stuff. She's not actually in the mess when it comes to that. But Candice is. I think Candice actually is very emotionally stunted. I think Candice actually is very evil and vile. And I think that Candice actually is very, very vindictive at her core. I think Candice is who she is. I don't think she's playing a role. That's why it never turns off. That's why she's always on Instagram lives. That's why she's going off on people on social media. That's why her relationships in her real life are actually crumbling. Kenya, I think Kenya is playing that villain role. She shows up, she stirs the pot, she does this, that, and the third. But she understands the assignment and she knows what she's doing. And she turns it off. She's not on social media doing all that. And Kenya doesn't go as low and as disgusting as Candice does. Does Kenya have some messed up plots and shenanigans that she does that I don't agree with? Yeah, of course. She's the villain. That's her job. But I think it's very different. And I do think that even though Kenya has her stuff with her mom and she has stuff with certain, romantic relationships, but at the end of the day, we all have our stuff. We all have some form of childhood trauma. We all have some things we need to work on, whether it's relationships, community. We all have something, right? We all have something, maybe not to that degree, but we all have something. But I do think that Kenya is actually an adult. Kenya can have a conversation. Kenya can see people's perspectives. Kenya is an adult. She is emotionally intelligent. And Candice does not have that. So I really think that Candice is the worst housewife because I just think that Candice is a worse person. That's just kind of how I feel. Hey, Diva1675. Andy even knows how to fold the Candice's crying napkin. Put it in the clubhouse. So true. So true. Hey, Darren Hood. She goes, younger with skinny. Child, heavily deserved it. That part. Hey, Sasha T. She goes, sorry I'm late. It's okay, sweetheart. I was very upset with how Andy spoke to Candice. Okay, he never did that with Erica. Not a big fan of Candice, but I hate it how they all switched up on her. It's a year too late. Yes. So earlier in the chat, we talked about it, but now that we have more people in the room, we can do it again. Yes, I agree. Last year, the way they did Monique was super messed up, completely uncalled for. But I will say, I think Andy really was trying to hold Erica accountable and was really asking her tough questions. I think the biggest difference is, and this is what I said before, exactly what you're saying, but I don't really blame Andy for it. I think the ladies of Beverly Hills went really easy and soft on Erica. They let her run that reunion. They let her act like somehow she was the victim and that she had a right to have the authority of the narrative. And no one really took her down. No one really came for her in an actual way. Crystal, please, Crystal. Rinna was just lying through her teeth. Nobody really held her accountable. Sutton asked some questions. Garcelle did too, but nothing meaningful. But when you have the women of Potomac, they hold Candice accountable. They go after her. They co-sign what Andy is saying. They really go for it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that is the big difference that we're seeing. I think that if the women of Beverly Hills actually held Erica accountable and went for her jugular and did not let up and made her not be this alleged victim in all of this, it would have felt and looked very different. So I actually think it's how the ladies are showing up on the show. I think that Andy did ask her a lot of, good questions and a lot of the questions that we all wanted to know. I think that when it comes to Andy Cohen, and again, trust me, I know he's problematic. I know he said and done stuff. I'm not by any means absolving him of that. But I do think that there is something to be said for, hey, I got it wrong last year. Let me at least try and get it right now. We can't have it both ways. We can't say, oh, you dropped the ball last year, and then this year he's trying to do better, and we're blaming him for doing better. You know what I mean? Again, it's his job, so I'm not going to give anybody extra praise for doing their job, but I am going to not bash someone for trying to do better. Last reunion, he didn't do his homework. This reunion, I think he did. Last reunion, I don't think that they really understood the temperature of the audience. The majority of us were Team Monique. I think that they thought that we'd be Team Candice, and that wasn't the case. And so this reunion, he's holding Candice accountable. Well, maybe you provoked her and all of this other stuff. And how is being really evil on Twitter and Facebook and talking to people all crazy? How is that working out for you? He called Erica a piece of work, and he said to Candice, how's that working out for you? You know what I mean? So I think that we can't bash him when he's trying to do better. Again, I'm not doing a big pat on the back. Oh, amazing. But I want to be objective and I want to be unbiased with it. And I do think that he was trying to do better. So I'm not going to bash him for trying to do better, if that makes sense. Hey, Peru, Chris, agreed. Heavenly is ignorant AF. Oh, Heavenly. More like devilish. Okay. Hey, Foxy Counselor. Exactly. And then they had the nerve to gaslight her and say it didn't happen instead of playing Candice's live. Boom. Exactly. No lies detected. Hey, Young Rich. Toya Bush Harris beat up Mariah, who was the EP of the show and didn't get any consequences. So maybe she won't get in trouble, but she is in the same boat as Portia. Didn't she try to beat up Contessa? Oof. I don't know. Hey, Young Rich. Danielle. That's right. Danielle Staub. Yes. Danielle Staub was the one who dragged Margaret by her ponytail. Hey, Sunny T, Teresa Giudice flipped a whole table. Yeah, and that became the Real Housewives iconic moment, right? So when Teresa flips a table, it becomes an iconic moment. But yet the girls of Atlanta and the girls of Potomac are ghetto and aggressive and violent. But Teresa has an iconic moment when she gets aggressive and violent. See? Hey, Takia Warren, Dr. Heavenly said while filming she got into a fight. Heavenly is Scorpio. There's something else my daughter is on. There's something else my daughter is one. Yeah. Hey, Darren Hood, Danielle. Yes, Danielle, stop. Yay. Hey, Cotty. Okay, I'm back on my laptop. Loving you at Candy. Oh, loving you too. If you want to join, if anybody wants to join, the join link is pinned. It's the top comment. So if you want to come up, come on up. Hey, Cotty, systematic-ism based on their race. 100%. 100%. Hey, Diva. She was Jennifer through Silverette Melissa. Yup, on New Jersey, and they promoted the episode. Yup, but they don't get Bravo. But they don't get Bravo doesn't condone violence before their episode airs. Exactly. Because, unfortunately, a lot of times, again, I don't make it all about race, but if we're going to keep it 100% funky, certain races of women are allowed to be angry. They are allowed to be emotional. They're allowed to be human. But when another race of women are human, it's a stigma. It's a commentary. We don't condone it. It's ridiculous. Hey, Young Rich, I don't know if you know that was Danielle allowed back after she called Andy a D addict. Wow. They're not letting, well, they're letting Nene back, and she called Andy that too. She called him racist and a D addict as well. And Nene's coming back. Isn't she coming back as like a very limited friend of? She has like a couple of episodes. I don't know. Foxy Counselor, he's horrible. Yeah, Michael Rappaport, yeah. Hey, Taki Warren Kenny, Mike Rapport married to a black woman. I don't like him. He talked too much. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's those type of guys who thinks, oh, I sleep with a black woman. I'm married to a black woman. Therefore, I can say whatever I want about the race and the culture. No, you can't. No, you cannot. Just because you sleep with black people does not absolve you from being respectful, does not mean what you say isn't racist, does not mean what you say isn't sexist, does not mean what you say isn't prejudice. It doesn't give you a pass. Hey, Foxy Counselor. She goes, girl, Kenya is the bomb. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Hey, Foxy Counselor, I don't think Kenya even talks about the show when it's not on. That's what I'm saying. Kenya is a grown woman doing grown woman things. She is using the show to jump off her side gigs, her Kenya Moore hair care, her producing, her acting, her this, that, and the third. Kenya is living her life and doing her thing. She plays a role on a reality show, scripted reality. She clocks in, she clocks out, and she cashes her check. Candice, on the other hand, has no boundaries. And she bleeds all over the place. And by bleeds, I mean like on Twitter, going off on people, at the reunion, going off on people, on TV, going off on people. It's just a mess. Hey, we have a lot of people in the chat. We have a lot of people watching. So you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share, and put your comment in the comment box. Let's do this, Candy Canes. Hey, Diva. Well, on the finale, when Candice told Scala that Michael is not good enough for Ashley, I think that was the nicest thing she ever said about Ashley. Maybe deep down, that's the real Candice. That's what I'm saying. I do think that Candice, I don't think any person is all one thing. Nobody is all evil and nobody is all good, right? So is there good in Candice? Yes, of course. But I think it goes down to what I was saying. Deep down, I do think that she wants to be friends with Ashley. She wants to be friends with Monique. She even wanted to be friends with Karen. But it's her limitations. It's her emotional and mental limitations that doesn't allow her to have healthy conversations, to have healthy boundaries, to have healthy expectations of people, to have those friendships. And that's the problem. She's operating from a very, very low frequency. And that's why instead of actually using her mouth, since I'm not, and by low frequency, I think she's very intelligent. Sure, she has a great vocabulary, but the problem is the way in which she chooses to use it. If she used her mouth, if she used her words to actually communicate in a healthy way what her wants and needs were, she would have some friends. If she was actually vulnerable, she would be more likable. But she uses her intelligence, she uses her words and her mouth instead to crush people and to be verbally abusive to people. Just because you're intelligent does not mean you're kind. Those are two different things. And that's the problem with Candice. Hi, Erika. She was, I always remember when Kenya was emotionally supportive to Cherie when her ex-husband was being emotionally abusive. Yeah. Yeah. I like Kenya. I don't agree with what she does all the time, but I do like her. Hey, Young Rich, I'm trying to see why it's so hard for Bravo to find a good 7th housewife. We don't need no darn light-skinned Keisha. Absolutely not. Or Baba's baby mama, Angela Simmons. I like Sonia, but we need one more housewife that fits. I agree. All of those people, not a fit. Not a fit. Hey, Darren. He goes, Mike reports is so disgusting at times with his mouth. He is disgusting. Very problematic, very disgusting. Hey, Randa Debo, Mike Rappaport is low-key Bill Maher. Is a low-key Bill Maher. Yep. I agree 100%. Same energy. Same energy. Sorry, just because you like our flavor doesn't give you the right to say whatever you want about us. It's still racist. Point blank, period. Hey, Takia. She goes, Candy, do you actually think Candice cussed her mama out about Chris? We all know Mama Dot still paying her bills. Candice don't have no other income outside of RHOP income. I agree with you. I think that she doesn't have any income out of RHOP. Her music career, but we'll see about that. No shade. Do I think she cussed her mom out about Chris? No. I think that was a lie. And I'm actually happy you asked that question because now I remember and now I can tell you why I know it's a lie. On camera, I forgot what episode it was. I have to find it. On camera, Candice asked Miss Dorothy, remember she said how, because Wendy at the music video, Wendy already told Candice, Mia and your mom is talking about Chris, right? They were talking about Chris, like low budget. Is he the manager? Is he getting paid? All of that, whatever, right? So Candice already knew that her mother was in on it. That's on camera. We already saw it. And then there was another scene with Candice and her mom. And Candice was talking to her mom and she was like, oh, like, what did you say? What did Mia say? All this stuff. And Miss Dot, I forgot exactly what she said, but she's like, oh, I said Chris, this, that, da, 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 da. It was very clear that Candice knew what Miss Dot said. So if you knew what she said in the moment at the time, and you're having a key moment with her about talking crap about your husband on camera, why would you then, months later off camera, cuss her out for something that you already knew about in the moment? So Candice is lying. I think the reason why Candice said that was because of the backlash that she got from the audience. And another reason why I think Candice is lying, again, this is my opinion, allegedly, it goes back to what I was saying before. I think Candice is in such an unhealthy dynamic, so codependent and so enmeshed with her mother. I think that Candice a lot uses her mother to be her mouthpiece. Because remember on the show when Candice called her mom and she was like, oh, Chris is my husbander or whatever. And then the mom, like literally on cue, was like, oh, you sure that's going to work? Oh, like, are you paying, like along the same stuff? Like, are you paying him? Like, what is he doing? And she was like, oh, mom. It was so scripted and so obvious that I think that Candice was using her mother to say the things about Chris and to say things about their finances and to say things about her money that Candice did not want to say. Candice herself went back to Chris, carrying the bone Giselle said. Oh, Giselle said you're riding my coattails. Giselle said this, that. They're talking about you not having a job and all this other stuff. Candice herself did not defend her husband. Candice herself on camera questioned her husband's manhood. So why would Candice then cuss her mother out for A, the things that Candice has said herself to her husband on camera, for B, everything that she already knew Miss Dot said on camera? They had a whole conversation about it. And she was kikiing with her mom. Wasn't mad at her mom. She was only mad at Mia. And for C, for things that she already co-signed that Giselle had already said. So no, Candice, in my opinion, you are lying. You said that to save face. You didn't cuss your mom out. Because everything your mom said, you said it yourself. Point blank, period. Thank you for that question because it reminded me of it. I got to go back and find that scene. But she already had the conversation with Miss Dot about it, and they were laughing and kikiing about it. The only person Candice ever got mad at was Mia. So why are you cussing your mom out now randomly? Girl, you lying. Hey, Diva 1675. Maybe Andy is trying to correct his mistake with Monique last year by going after Candice this year. Yeah, exactly. I agree. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm not giving him extra kudos for anything, but I do think there's something to be said for trying. There's something to be said to say, hey, I didn't do my due diligence last season. Hey, I missed the mark. Hey, I got it wrong. Now I'm trying to correct it. We can't be damned if you do, damned if you don't. We can't be mad at him for missing the mark and then mad at him for trying to hit the mark, right? Sure, it's his job, but he's also human. We all sometimes get it wrong. He's trying to get it right. Again, I'm not being a cheerleader for him. I'm just saying there's something to be said for him trying to correct it. Hey, Candice, what's up? She says, hey, Candy in the chat. Hey, sweetheart, how are you? Thank you for coming through. Hey, Foxy Counselor, at Taki Warren, what happened to the hair company? Whose hair? What? Whose hair? Oh, did Candice have a hair company? Ooh. Hey, Young Rich, I don't know how I feel about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills coming back with the same cast next year, especially without Garcelle's friend Cherie. Honestly, I stopped reviewing the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills because I just got really disgusted with how they were all doing Erica with kid gloves. Rinna disgusts me. I don't know how Erica thought she had any type of authority to have an attitude during the reunion. I don't want to see Erica. I don't. I don't want to see her. I don't want to see Rinna. I do want a cast shakeup. And I'm not being ageist by any means. And you know what? Actually, let me take that back. It doesn't have to be younger. I want fresher housewives. I want fresher housewives who actually have storylines, who are interesting, who bring a new energy, fresh dynamic. And by that, I don't mean age. I just mean a freshness. I think right now with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, it's a little stale. Dorit can go. Erica can go, Rinna can go, Crystal can go, Kyle, to be honest, she can go too. Garcelle and Sutton can stay. But the rest, peace out. I want fresh. And I think that's been an overall problem for the entire franchise. It's been very stale. Recycled storylines. The work is showing when people are having, very fake conversations, made up situations, the same stuff over and over again. We need fresh housewives, fresh content, fresh stories, new families, more money, all of that. And let's see here. Hey, Takia. She says, don't know how she don't talk about her hair company anymore. The wig looked hideous at the reunion. Alley-oop. Bex counselor's laughing. Sasha T, he raised his voice at Candice. I didn't like that. He does not speak to the White Housewives in this manner. Okay. I'm gonna have to go back if he raised his voice. Yeah, I agree. I don't like when people, particularly men, raise their voice at women. I agree with that 100%. But to play devil's advocate the same way we did with colorism, does he get that way, or did he get that way with Candice because of who Candice is? Not necessarily because Candice is Black. I 100% know and identify racism when it happens, colorism when it happens. But there's also a level of, is this person just irritating AF? Whether she was white or Black. And I think that's what it is when it comes to Candice. But I agree, Sasha T, 100%. I don't like him raising his voice at her, regardless. I agree, 100%. Fox Counselor, it was sitting. Hey, Sasha T, that's right. Like this video, you guys. If you're in here, you're having a fun kiki, like the video, subscribe, comment below. If you're catching on the replay, definitely comment and share with a friend, because a kiki is always better with community. And speaking of community, join mine. I just made new, fresh, cool emojis for you guys. And we're going to be having a members-only self-care session this weekend. So if you want to join us, be sure to join. Yay! Hey, Diva, why is Wendy going for Mia? She's interrupting folks. I have a feeling she's going to run this reunion. She had a think folder, a thick folder. Yeah, I definitely think Wendy's gonna run the reunion, and I agree. I don't know why Wendy's going for Mia. Remember when she told Mia to shut up and Mia shut up? Like, that was really weird and bizarre to me. I agree. Hey, Taki Warren, I didn't like how Wendy told Mia to shut up. I'm all for her. I'm all for her makeover, but Wendy is feeling herself. Yeah, I didn't like the way she talked to Mia. That to me, it was uncalled for. Hey, Young Rich. Nope. Andy said the other day that there was no room for Nene. Oh, no room for Nene. Not surprised. Hey, Taki Warren, Nene did it to herself when she called Andy racist and the boycott the network. Yep, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. I agree. I agree 100%. She took it too far. She took it too far. Hey, Diva, I think Candice barely said anything to Dorothy about Chris, but why does she go in only for Mia and not Giselle or Robin? True, because Giselle and Robin were equally at fault. Giselle was kikiing with Miss Dot, and Robin was too. The reason why Candice doesn't go in on them is because Candice needs to be liked by them. Candice doesn't have any allies. She doesn't have any friends on the show. I think she just wants to be liked by them, and I think that she felt that Mia was more disposable and an easier target. Hey, Cardi B, the network is racist. It's an old white company. I would definitely call a thing a thing. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. If only the slaves would have taken that advice at Takia Warren. Takia Warren says, Candy, I heard Angela Simmons will be on RHOP season 14. I don't think she's good for the show. Angela is very guarded and very secretive about her life on growing up hip-hop LA. Is she also be filming too? I agree. And Kadi, I agree with your comment as well. Definitely calling a thing a thing. I get it, but Nene didn't have a problem with Andy until she was no longer a favorite and she fell out of favor. So you can't be on a show, give or take a decade, have no problems, but then all of a sudden when you're not on the show, you have all the smoke for everybody. Well, where was your issue when you were in favor, right? So that, to me, kind of goes to Nene's credibility. Have things been problematic? Have things been said? Is there a discrepancy between how some housewives are treated and others? Yes, of course. But where was this passion for Black people when you were at the top of your game? When her and Andy were buddy-buddy, Nene didn't have a problem. No issue. But the moment, because this is the thing, everybody has their season, and every season comes to an end. And when her season came to an end, she couldn't handle it. So that, to me, is more of what Nene's problem was, right? If it was this huge systematic racism going on, this huge problem going on, why were you on that show for over a decade? Why were you and Andy BFFs for over a decade? Does it mean that there isn't racism on the show and in the network? Of course not. But does it mean that Nene has a leg to stand on now that she's trying to be on a soapbox? I don't know. Takia Warren, I agree. Angela Simmons, to me, isn't that interesting, if that makes sense. Oh, hey, you guys. Wait, hold on. Kadi's coming up. Hey, what's up, Kadi?
Hey, Candy.
What is up?
Hey, just want to touch on the Nene thing. Yeah. I feel like what people fail to realize is, okay, we live in America. Most of these countries are old, rich, and white and racist. We've all worked for them. And to try to say, why haven't you said anything? I mean, really? That's this country. It is what it is. So, okay, she wanted to speak about it after she got demoted and chose not to come back or whatever. That's fine. I don't know why people act like, oh my God, if it was racist, why didn't you say anything? Welcome to America. Look, who hasn't worked at a racist country? We got bills to pay.
No, I agree that sometimes we are at a job and there is racism or sexism or whatever ism is going on, and we don't speak up because we want to keep our job, we want to keep money coming in, we want to keep food on the table. I understand that 100%, but it's just a little, I just think the way Nene did it and the way she went about it and her arrogance seemed to be more like her problem was with the fact that she was no longer in favor, rather than her authentically having an issue with the institutionalized racism at Bravo or with Andy. So does it happen in real life where we face racism? Of course. And you have to bite your tongue because you got the bills to pay and everything else in the world. But I'm talking about Nene in particular. It just didn't seem authentic to me. It seemed like she got her feelings hurt, her ego got bruised, and so she just went off the deep end, swinging and saying what she wanted to say to make noise and to somehow thinking that would get her back on the show or on the network. And then again, that completely backfired. So I think with the Nene situation, it doesn't seem like it's coming from a genuine, authentic place. Do I think harassment happens? Do I think racism happens? Do I think prejudice happens? Yes, of course it does. Unfortunately, a lot of people do have to hold their tongue. But when it comes to Nene, I just don't see it. It just seemed more like she got her feelings hurt, her ego got bruised, and she went on a rampage.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree that, Nene spoke probably out of anger and everything.
Yep.
But one doesn't negate the other. Like, I totally agree. Nene probably like, oh my God, y'all is racist. I was fired, I was demoted, whatever happened.
Mm-hmm.
I totally get that, but people want to take it and act like because Nene isn't liked or because Nene has an attitude problem that Bravo can't be racist, and these two things don't go together. Okay, like just because Nene has a big ego and she didn't want to be let go from the show doesn't mean Bravo's not racist. I mean, we see it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're talking about all the other people, Jersey, Beverly Hills, all of them, Dallas, all of them. We see it, and that's the thing that bothers me. It's like, what? Just because Nene is unlikable, suddenly Bravo's not racist?
No, I agree with you 100% on that point. Both things can be true. Nene could be tripping because her ego is bruised and she's no longer in favor, but that doesn't mean that there aren't problems systemically with Bravo and how they treat their talent differently based on race. I agree with that 100%. Both things can definitely be true. But but when it comes to Nene, just in that context alone, I would have respected her more, or she would have been, or her particular claims would have been more valid to me if when she were in favor, she had done something like what Candy did when she went to the network and was just like, hey, you need to hire more Black-owned production companies. You need to hire more Black talent, off camera, with producers and production and the crew and all of that stuff. Because Candy has a lot of favor at Bravo. She has a lot of pull, and she used her favor and her pull to try and make things more equal, to try and get more opportunities for Black people and minority people at the network. So to me, that is the biggest difference, right? When Nene was in favor, Nene was only looking out for Nene. And even when the whole Black Lives Matter thing happened, remember when they had that whole beef, when they were mad at Candy? Oh, Candy just went and to the network on her own. We should have went as a group. We would have had more in a group. If you actually listen to what Portia and who was it, and Nene and the people were saying, they wanted to go to Bravo to get more opportunities for themselves. They wanted more opportunities for them to get programming, for them to be producers, for them to have like spinoffs and stuff like that. They weren't really going to Bravo to affect change for the Black community. And that's very different from what Candy did. Candy went to Bravo and said, you don't have to hire my production company. I just want you to hire more Black people in general as crew in production, right? So even when they had the moment in Black Lives Matter, and that's why they were hating on Candice so much, because they weren't actually thinking about elevating the Black community. They were looking at how can I get more programming for myself? Because I really listened to when they read those text messages, and I really listened to what they were saying when that happened. And Portia and Nene were actually trying to get more programming for themselves. And that's why they said, oh, well, I guess now we can just go to Bravo and just ask for a donation. That right there shows you they never had any intent to really help the community. If all of a sudden it's just, oh, let's just ask for a donation, why didn't you still go to Bravo and say, hey, let's have more Black talent on camera. Let's have more Black talent behind camera. Let's talk about how Bravo, let's have conversations about how Bravo treats Black housewives versus white housewives. Let's have more conversations about what's going on with that. If they really cared about Black Lives Matter, if they really cared about creating opportunities for Black people, if they really cared about affecting change at Bravo, they would have continued those conversations. They would have went to Bravo with solutions, but they wanted to go to Bravo to get more opportunities for themselves. And then Portia got the chat thing, and she was like a producer on Bravo chat room or whatever it is. Nene shot herself in the foot, so we know what happened with her. But all of that stuff, right? So that even then is indicative of, well, Nene, if you felt this big type of way about Bravo when Black Lives Matter, why weren't you really checking them rather than trying to get another paycheck for yourself? And that was really the biggest difference I saw when it came to it. So does Bravo, the network, like a lot of companies in general in our country, have institutionalized racism because our country has institutionalized racism? Yes, of course, by default. But do I think Nene is valid? No, I think she's whack.
I don't think she's whack. I'm dead. But on the flip side, not with the Nene,
yes,
this also lets you know how much the network gives a crap. Because remember how we talked about Portia's show and what it was supposed to be. But the movement is no longer popping. So they switched her show around, which also lets you know exactly who they are. Because it was the ratings, right? It's the money. We don't care about
100%.
Folks, but we will promote the heck out of this when it's jumping. Oh, it's no longer jumping, switching up.
Yep.
But that's all I had to say. Also, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Again, if only the slaves would have took that advice, we'd still be slaves.
Totally. Oh wait, there's this one comment by Young Rich. I want your opinion on it. Okay, so Young Rich says, I feel like it's much deeper than her ego at that time. Her husband was dying, and she shouldn't have been in that environment in the first place. She was checked out on season 11. She was going through it. What do you think on that?
Well, I mean, Nene was going through a lot, but when she wasn't, I don't know, asked back or whatever, Greg was in remission. So he was not on the journey to the next life at that particular point. Now, in season 11, when he was going through it, I totally think she should not have been on that season. I don't think she was in the right space. And they couldn't even give her grace on that. Oh my God, look what she did to the cameraman. So what? Stay your behind where I tell you to in my house.
Agreed. The cameraman was completely out of line, out of bounds. You don't go into my closet, don't go into the closet, point blank, period.
Right.
I agree with you with that. Thank you so much for the super chat. Isada Gibate, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, I hope I am. Isada Gibate. She says, hey, Candice. Hey, I'm Candy. How are you? Stevie J from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta is filing from divorce on Faith Evans. Just saw the article on the Shade Room post, just heard the news. Well, let me say this. I'm surprised Stevie J is filing and not Faith. I mean, how did he bag her? That's the question. We all know Stevie Oh, geez,
It's
Louise. Let me just say this. Faith, run for the hills. Get the divorce. Do you, sweetheart. Love you, Faith. Sending love to you, because we all know. I'm just surprised he's filing. Maybe he's preemptively filing because he knows she wants to.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Let's see what Darren Hood is saying. So Darren says, Portia's narrative towards Black Lives Matter movement wasn't good last season. Yandy had a better perspective towards it on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Yep. I think Yandy really was doing it for the right reasons, where I think Portia was a little bit more performative, because what is Portia doing now? Hey, beautiful Kamiko. She says, hey,
I do know
Candy
Yandy does do a lot of things behind the scenes. She's been trying to get people out of jail and things like that. So I think Yandy's been working behind the scenes a lot before the BLM movement. So
no, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. And I think that it was performative with Portia. Because it's just like what I said when I came up on your show. Her spinoff wasn't that supposed to be about BLM, but then it turned into her and like sleazy, what's his name? Simon. And it just kind of turned into like a Love and Hip Hop spinoff for her. So What happened to that? What happened to her activism? And we all know that the BL movement, I think the message of the BL movement is beautiful and great, but I think that people have hijacked it and distorted it, and it's not where it should be.
Totally. Remember what I told you about it, and I don't know if they had recently changed their mission statement, but it didn't include straight Black men.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It lets you know everything. How can you even continue the Black race without the straight Black man?
Yeah, and I'm a feminist, and I'm not like for the patriarchy. However, I do believe that men in union with women, and I don't mean LGBTQI. I'm not talking about sexuality. I'm not talking about that. So nobody misquote me. Nobody think that. I'm not talking about that. But I think the union of men and women is the backbone of any healthy community or society. And I don't mean anything about LGBTQIA. I'm not talking about that. But I think that union is the backbone. So how are you trying to build a community back up, a society back up, Black lives back up, without including Black men?
Right.
Makes zero sense.
Of us.
Yeah. And when I say union of men and women, I'm not talking about sexuality. I'm not talking about LGBTQI. So nobody take that out of context. That's not what I mean. But I think that union of it is really the backbone of society. So how are you going to build a movement without having Black men? That is insane to me. Darren Hood says, Portia somehow failed at the narrative for BLM. It was 50-50, but Yandy had... Oh, sorry. We already said that one. Thank you, Darren Hood. Kimiko. Hey, beautiful Kimiko. She goes, Sleazy J. I know. Oh, Faith, get out. Run. Darren says that Mirage with Jocelyn and stuff. Jocelyn. I cannot with her. What do you think about Jocelyn?
I think she trash. Look, you know I'm straight honest.
Yes, you are. Young Rich is fighting with her ex-mother-in-law. Child, what in the Zeus network? Ooh, okay, Akira. She says, we both have it twisted. Okay. It's because Black men ruined the movement of Black Panther because always make their movement about Black women always make their movement about Black men, and we're sick of the mammy behavior.
No. The quickest way to destruction of a people is to remove the male. Period. You cannot procreate without a man and a woman. So no. No.
Yeah. Hey, Takia. She goes, Portia family on the father's side is mad at her on the spinoff. I wouldn't be surprised, saying she portrayed a family image they thought it was about civil rights. They don't like Simon at all. Yep. Because that's how the spinoff was initially supposed to go. It was supposed to be about her Black Lives Movement and about civil rights and her grandfather's legacy, but it turned into this hot Lifetime movie. Hey, Erika. She goes, how about Black men start making a movement where they fight and Black women rest. You know what I say to that? I think I 100% understand your perspective, and I 100% understand where you're coming from. But I think what we need to do, if it's possible, and this is obviously way easier said than done, I think in order to start building the gap between Black men and Black women is to create this space for, and I'm not saying that they don't, because again, by no means am I bashing Black men at all. I love and honor them. By no means am I bashing them. But I do understand that there is in some cases a breakdown between Black men and Black women. And I think the best way to get back that unity is to create this space for them to show up for us. So I understand exactly what you're saying, but I'm not going to continue the narrative to demonize or villainize Black men. But I agree with you 100%. As Black women, we do deserve to be in our feminine. We do deserve to be vulnerable and to be taken care of and supported and fought for and taken care of. I agree with that 100%. But we need to create the space for that. And shutting them out doesn't give them the opportunity to show up for us. And of course, it's easier said than done. This is a remnant of, to be perfectly honest, slavery. So it's a really big problem. It's a really big issue to tackle. That's just my perspective on it. I wish I could fix it. If I knew how to implement this, I would, but I don't. It's such a big thing. But I'm never going to bash Black men. And I'm always going to honor Black women.
Right. And I don't think it's as prevalent as people like to portray it to be. Oh, Black men don't protect Black women. I don't think it's actually as prevalent. And I think it's more based on what people feel than actual evidence of that.
Mm-hmm. And also what's portrayed. Like, you have to remember that advertising, media, all of that stuff, they can promote a narrative. Just because they're promoting a narrative doesn't mean that is what is happening in the majority of the time.
Right.
You know, you have to be careful of that stuff too.
You know, not to mention the fact that the government actually rewarded the Black woman for removing the Black male from the household. So we have to be mindful of that as well. Mm-hmm. Yes, it came from slavery, but yes, it also came from Jim Crow. But even afterwards, when they did the welfare, and they did it for us, but they found that the white folks wanted it more, needed it more. But they used that as well as a weapon to get the Black man out of the house. They created this, and it's genius. It's still working. It's still working. It's diabolical, but it's genius.
No, 100%. And that's just modern day slavery. Slavery still exists, but it just exists in a different way. It's just evolved. Mm-hmm. You know, that's the whole point of BLM. The fact that they're killing us disproportionately with little to no consequence of that's a type of slavery. Our prison system, that's 1,000% a type of slavery. Less access to home loans, to credit, to land, to education, to all of those things. That's a type of slavery. Mm-hmm. You know, that is a type of slavery. Hey, Diva 1675. Portia had a lot of clout after her New York Times article. Yep, she didn't use her new power wisely. Agreed. 100%. 100%. Hey, Erika, she goes, until Black women start fighting and leading where they honor Black women, we can rest. Mm-hmm. Hey, Erika, she goes, I agree, Candy. Yes, sweetheart. Hey, Kamiko, I totally agree with both of y'all. I'm pro-Black women, but no one cannot deny the role of Black men. The roles are broken on both sides. Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And it was purposely done that way. They purposely broke up our family unit. We didn't come as slaves broken up. They purposely dismantled us. If you think about like the war of art or the art of war, whatever it is, you think about any type of tactic. What is one of their main strategies? Divide and conquer. That is a basic tenement of war. Major way you win a war is to divide and conquer. So what they wanted to do was to divide us in order to conquer us. And that is what they did. They divided the family unit. They divided men from women. They divided fathers from sons, mothers from daughters, all of that stuff. They picked who could live, who could die, all of those things.
Yep.
As if we were cattle. So that is a huge thing. Divide and conquer. And what's the most precious thing you can divide in this life? A family.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're trying to do. Hey, Erika, she goes, I don't know if I agree with the narrative of Black women totally disparaging Black men. Black women have these weird perspectives of consistently making Black men the victims. # say her name was erased. Yeah.
I think that's just the opposite side of the Black men don't protect Black women. It's just the opposite side.
Yeah, and I think it also, again, goes to what the narrative is being put out there, because it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Exactly. If you are continuously being told that Black men ain't nothing, Black men don't, then why are you surprised when Black men show up that way?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be really careful with that type of stuff. If you continuously tell someone or a group of people you're like this, then you're conditioning them to be that way. Well, why should I show up? Why should I step up when you already think I ain't nothing?
What about the term Black on Black crime? Doesn't exist for any other race.
It's literally just called crime.
Right.
It's just crime. When white people commit crime against other white people, it's called crime. It's not called white on white crime.
Exactly.
And I'm telling you, like, no one race has a monopoly on anything. No one race has a monopoly on being good, better, best. No one race has a monopoly on being evil, worse, less than. There is good in all, and there is bad in all. It's just what narrative is someone trying to sell to you. Hey, Young Rich, that's a problem. Always excluding people, whether they be men or women, gay, straight, or trans. Yep, instead of coming together and fight together, which is more powerful. Exactly. If you want Black men to show up, how can you exclude them? Those are two opposites. Show up for me, but you're not invited.
Exactly.
You didn't come to the party. Why didn't you come to the party? Because you didn't invite me to the party. So why are you mad I didn't come to the party when you didn't invite me to the party? Hey, Takia. She goes, I think Escala should be full-time housewife. She don't take no crap from the other housewives. Her clothing style is on point. No lies detected and same. I actually want to be friends with Escala. I really like her. She's cool. I want to drink mimosas with her and go shopping. I do.
Yeah, I love her.
Hey, Sip with D, what's up? She goes, I just love how they didn't ignore Giselle horrible fashion. Yes, I agree too. Giselle and her horrible fashions. And I love how Escala shaded her. Wendy was like, well, which housewife would you want to do a fashion update? And she was like, well, Giselle. I want to bring her more current. I want to bring her more, to present day, which I thought was really funny.
I wish somebody would have talked about the fact that she dressed like a cow that day and had those neon pink shoes on.
I'm not a cow.
Well, I mean, it looked like it. The top and the day that Wendy read her for filth.
Mm-hmm.
She looked like a cow. I mean, it was an obvious heifer joke. I mean, goodness.
She looked like a cow in her jumper. And then Robin looked so stale and funky with her outfit. Robin just seems so stale and funky to me. Just so like Robin looks like she's. Let me calm down.
Like she still don't bathe?
I was gonna say something else. Let me.
Oh, okay.
I'll DM it in the group chat. Hey, Kamiko. She goes, gives me the meaning to evolve so hard. You have to learn it all over again. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Hey, Erika. She was at Young Rich Skinny. That's why I'm saying I see far more of a consistent history of Black men erasing Black women and trying to conquer the movement and make it a patriarchy, our ancestors. Ooh. Hey, Asada Gipate. She goes, hey, Candy, sorry I said your name wrong. Oh, no, it's okay, sweetheart. I hope I said your name right. I apologize. Also, are you ready for Basketball Wives when it comes back? So, Isada, there is no need to apologize at all. And I hope I said your beautiful name correctly. So we're all good. And I appreciate your super chat and I appreciate you. And Basketball Wives, I'm going to give Basketball Wives a chance. I tapped out last season. I just had no tolerance for it. And I'm happy you brought that up. Because one thing that we did talk about was the colorism issue, right? I don't see it when it comes to Candice. I don't think it's a colorism issue at all. What I do think is a colorism issue in comparison is what happened at Basketball Wives with OG. I think that is a prime example of colorism. It was so obvious. It was painful to watch, and my heart bled for her. They sent her monkey emojis. They talked about her clothes and outfits, not in a kiki way, but in a very nasty, degrading way. They talked about her actual facial features. They were a very mean girl to her. They ostracized her. They treated her like garbage. And it was very, very clear that they thought that they were better than her because that they were light-skinned and had certain hair textures and had certain features and all of that stuff. There was colorism and featureism. And then that little dingbat, what was her name? Christina, whatever her name was. She's like, well, I'm dark skinned too, and they don't treat me that way. Yeah, Kristen, I think that's her name, because you kissed their butt. And it's also featureism. Kristen's features are also very, very European, very, very Western, and she had quote unquote good hair, right? So she made herself palpable to them. She kissed their butts, had no opinion of herself, was basically their lapdog. And she also has very European features. So it's a very different situation. And it made me really sick to my stomach that she couldn't look to her sister. And by sister, I mean another Black woman. I don't mean actual sister. And be like, I see you and I hold space for you. And I'm so sorry that we treated you this way. That's what a real woman would have done instead of trying to gaslight her and dismiss her and invalidate her experience. Because I don't care who you are, any way you slice it, that was 100% colorism and featureism. And I think that's more of a true example of it. This whole Candice mess, no, Candice, you're just a nasty person and you're very, very entitled. It has nothing to do with the fact that your mom has money. It has nothing to do with the fact of the color of your skin. You're just a nasty, unlikable person. And a person like Candice, who is so limited emotionally, can never look at themselves and say, hey, maybe I don't need to respond this way. Maybe I don't need to go this deep and this dark. Maybe it is me, but she wants to blame everybody else. It's Mia's fault. It's the people on Twitter's fault. It's the color of my skin fault. It's all of these. It's everybody else's fault. Well, you started it. I just finished it. That's still so immature and ridiculous. Just because, again, somebody says something you don't like, it does not give you a free pass to be emotionally and verbally abusive to somebody else. And that is what Candice does, and that's what she doesn't get. She doesn't understand that just because somebody says something you don't like doesn't give you the right to go as nasty and as deep as she does. And that's what Candice doesn't get. And she never says, it's me. It's my fault. My bad. I'm sorry. My mistake. It's always somebody else's fault. And that's what the problem is.
Yeah, totally. I don't see the colorism with Candice either.
No, but OG 100%.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Hey, Diva. She was except on RHOP, Michael fighting with Chris last year at a black party. That was white on white crime. Yes, it was. That was some white on white crime. And speaking of white on white crime, what did you think about the finale? Did we talk about this? When Candice called it, when she was mad at Michael for white privilege. I think we did talk about it. But what were your thoughts on that since Diva brought it up?
I didn't, in that instant, I don't know what she was talking about white privilege in that instance.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes, Michael does benefit on this show from white privilege, but in this particular instance, I think Candice was just being so overly dramatic.
Agreed. No lies detected. I agree 100%. Hey, HU Angel 1, Ascala is cool people in real life. I agree. if I want to know her, I want to hang out with her. Like, hey, Escala, hit me up. I want to talk to you. Right? Oh, Dustin, where did you go? Come back up. I was about to bring you back into the chat. Come back in. Yeah, and if anybody wants to come in, it's the pen link. Come on in.
Okay, I'm gonna drop down. I got
love.
Go troll in candies, the candy shops.
Oh, yes.
I'll be back and forth in both.
Oh, no, good. And I'm been on here for 2 hours. I'm about to wrap it up and go say hi to Candice too.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Bye, sweetheart.
All right. See you later. Love you.
Love you too. Bye. Yay. Hey, Takia Warren. She goes, Candy, what you think Candice saying that about Michael Darby, this most white privilege, but duh, your husband white. I thought that comment was so ignorant. I agree too. It was a very, very ignorant comment. Look who we got in the house. Hi, Sip with D. What's up?
Hey, I work right now, but I just had to come in and say hello.
Yes, what's up?
Can you see me?
Yes, we can see you.
Okay. So that reunion, it's heating up. I'll say that it's heating up. I do like the fake out that they're doing that Nicki Minaj is not coming or whatever the case may be. And he's really trying it with that one, but I had said this in the chat. I just love how they would go Giselle fashions. I felt like they really paid some attention to that, and it was super funny. And I don't care what no one says. She needs to drop that stylist. Please drop that stylist. I hope you guys can hear me. I know it's probably kind of loud in here, but she needs to drop that stylist. Like literally, she's had it from start to finish. Like she said, straight line, nothing going to change. She needs to change that stylist. And but I don't like. I know this is going to sound weird. But the way that Andy was kind of trying to hold her accountable this season, reunion, was just weird to me. It was just like, but to me, it fits. Like somebody has to be the victim right now. Somebody has to be the villain right now. Like it's like, where was all this last season was really happening? Like she was really provoking, not saying that, Monique was wrong for, raising her hand, and snugging on the wig. But at the end of the day, we're going to dismiss everything Candice did last year. But now we can talk about it this year. Now you want to say to her, what do you think, last year this happened and the common denominator is you. Like, this should have been, I honestly feel like this should have been a conversation last season so that this season, it wouldn't even went this way. It would have been, I think she would have washed herself. I think she did not expect Andy to come at her like that. And I think that's absolutely ridiculous because girl, where are you living at? Where are you? I don't understand. I love how Mia owned her stripper. I love that fact that you own it, Mia. You do your thing or whatever the case may be. And I will say this, Candice and Ashley, their foreheads are not the same size. Ashley's is a little bigger, but I still love Ashley. I still, but the whole wide comments and everything was still wrong. But I love how Andy gave her, trying to get her to take some accountability, which she will never do. She will never do. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't want a scholar on the stage. I'm sorry, I didn't because I noticed she dresses well. She's the best dressed this season. And sometimes she has her points, but towards the end, I didn't like it how she kind of like teamed up with Candice and just was kind of inserting herself in the business. Like I said this before, when she inserted herself in the conversation with Giselle and Mia, because she was like, I was trying to figure out what did Mia do to a scholar? Nothing. A scholar kept inserting herself, and then she, so I was just like, why is she here right now? I just didn't think she needed to be on the reunion at that moment. Like, you kind of, and then she kept trying to take anything to disagree with Mia was just weird. And I think she was just jumping on the bandwagon to whoever, Mia's a lot of people don't like Mia right now. I'm just gotta weigh the odds out. I just didn't understand that. And I love a scholar. A scholar has a lot to bring to the show. I think she has a gorgeous family. She didn't need to team up. Like, even when she kept, why you always talking about business? Like, first of all, she said, why you always talking about business and why you always talking about money? Like, girl, this is the Real Housewives. This is what it was meant to be about. You show your glamour, you show your glitz, you show what you're, doing. This is what we want to see. We don't want to see you guys just looking bummy. I mean, but I don't know. I think everyone was looking beautiful. Outfits were looking absolutely amazing, except for Giselle, obviously. But more to come, more to see. But that was that on that. So I just love the fact that they zeroed on her, Giselle's fashions. I love the fact that they're trying to get Candice to take accountability. I think it's a little late. You already created this monster because she thinks that she
Yep.
can do things and then turn around and say, you did this, you did this. For them to tell her, you threw a piece of salad first. She said, I threw a piece. It's so what? You threw something first. Like, are you hearing yourself? It's like, it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty much it. So I can't wait till next season. I mean, next episode, see how this, heats up.
I
And
hope
I
it
still will
does.
never understand the whole white privilege thing that she tried to say on her. I still will never understand. Like I said, I think she forgets her husband is white. I don't know what it cannot be that brown. Like I just it just I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. So I just wanted to pop in and say
Okay.
hey. So hey.
Thank you, Sip with D. That's my girl right there. You guys go follow her. She's hilarious and she always has great on point commentary. Hey, Diva, what's up?
Hi,
You
can
want
you
to
hear
share?
me?
Yes, we
Hello?
can hear you.
Okay, it's my first time calling, so I'm not sure how to use these buttons. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Well, first, I didn't understand why, like, all of them keep making fun of Mia's past as a stripper and not giving her credit for changing her lifestyle, and because Erica Jane was a stripper too, and they never bring it up, and they just talk about she's
Yep.
got money, she's got Cartier rings, she's got jets, blah blah blah. But when it comes to Mia, it's like, oh, that's your husband's stuff, that's not your stuff, and that's he's a pimp and you're this and that, and I'm just like, why is there has to be a difference between the two of them? That's one thing that I noticed, and they should actually be praising her for being able to move up and get a nice stable family, and I think she has the richest husband on that cast, so maybe they're just hating, I don't know. But I didn't like I think Wendy is just on 10 right now, and I don't know why she told me to shut up, because that came out of nowhere. Mia wasn't even talking to her, and if Wendy has that going forward, she's gonna, instead of being the hero of the reunion, she's gonna end up being the villain of the reunion, and I don't want her to have to go through that, because I want to see the PowerPoint presentation, and I want to cheer for that, but she just can't be snapping on folks for no reason. I also it's kind of, I don't know if she can do it or not. I was thinking, like, because I know she's trying to align herself with Robin and Giselle, Candice, I mean, as far as allies. But as you can see, Robin and Giselle will throw her under the bus very quickly. And she may have to go the Mary Crosby route of just, I don't have an alliance and I don't need an alliance. I'm me, and being me will keep me on the show. Because obviously, I mean, because eventually it's just gonna look stupid if these two are doing stuff behind your back and everything, and you're gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna hang out with these two. If you just look like, eventually it's gonna look kind of weak and stupid to me. Speaking of that, I kind of miss Katie, from like season 4, Katie.
I love Katie.
She always talks. Yeah, she's always like, I think she's stupid, or maybe you're dumb, or maybe you're dumb and stupid. So, but she was never afraid of Giselle. She said what she thought. Yeah. And she was talking, like she's like a Mary in a sense of, like, she will talk about everybody in the group, and she doesn't care about she just authentically herself. And so I kind of miss Katie. Like Ray, I miss Katie. I would like her to be on the show again.
Me too. I like Katie too.
As far, I'm trying to think backtrack with everything I wanted to say. As far as Jamal thing, I don't really care about talking about Jamal or the timeline or whatever. It's just like, I'd rather hear about Grace's driving than talk about Jamal. So I wasn't very interested in that part.
Well, I did like the fact that he put the fact that Jamal is $800,000 in debt with the taxes, and how Giselle tried to act like she couldn't be on the hook for that. I'm sorry, boo-boo, but you were married to him, joint taxes, you're probably on the hook for it too. But she can sit there and live in denial all she wants. But Uncle Sam waits for no man. So she better do what Karen said and lure her up.
Now, I haven't read the book, the Diamonds book, but I didn't like how, like, point blank, she told to the producer, Nora, no, I'm not going to tell you anything. It's none of your business, blah, 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 blah. But you know, normally that doesn't really fly on many of these shows. And a lot of times Andy will get upset with the housewife and say, well, you're on this show to show your life. And like even like Sutton couldn't be I'm talking about Sutton from Beverly Hills.
Okay.
She couldn't even be a housewife because she couldn't show her children. Mm-hmm. So her first season. So why all of a sudden Giselle gets all this protection over, you know, who she dates? And I mean, at least that would have been a legitimate storyline that she didn't have to fake if she did. It doesn't say his name or anything. I mean, it just made it seem like she has the authority to reveal what she wants and what she doesn't want and so forth. I don't know. I like that. I didn't like that.
No, I agree with you 100% on that. Yeah. No, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
You can always kick in because if you don't say anything, I'm going to keep on talking. So you can always, if you have say something.
No, go ahead.
As far as Robin, I think she can go, or she can be demoted as a friend of, because, well, her storyline is always attached to Juan in some point. She never has like her own personal story. What really would have been good is if she actually went through the whole thing about her depression with the pandemic and so forth. And I really hated how people treated her and made light of the situation. I think only Escala was the only one who said, hey, I think these are very definitive symptoms of depression, and I think you should see somebody, and it's not a bad thing or you're weird or whatever. Because all Giselle said was like, you can't let your fine husband see you such and such. And I'm like, that's horrible advice. And
horrible.
Then, you got Juan telling her to get out of bed. You're unattractive. I mean, that just makes her feel worse. And you told her your car is dirty. Her car is dirty because she's fat and she can barely even get in the car, much less go to the car wash. You should be happy she even got that this far, you know. So I think her own personal, like, emotional, mental journey would have been more interesting to watch than her want to talk about this fake baby that they're never going to have. So
basically, or she's never going to have with him. He might have it with his alleged side piece,
somebody else.
With somebody else. And I want to quickly say this person's comment. Hi, Dee. She says, Giselle should have just said she was dating more than one person when the producer asked her about it. That's what Giselle should have said. But I'm going to do a conspiracy theory and let me know what you guys think. So we already know that Giselle has a track record of lying about her relationships because allegedly, in my opinion, she got busted with her whole Jamal Pastor Holy Whore timeline. So that was clearly a fake relationship for the story. Do you think she made up this alleged 37-year-old male commentator in DC that she was just casual with, but now they're no longer casual together? Do you think she just made it up to sort of save face, or do you think he actually exists?
Now, I can't remember if Wendy acknowledged that she did know who the person was and that she acknowledged they broke up, or she just acknowledged that it wasn't Van Jones. I can't remember what her 2 cents was.
Wendy, when Andy was like, oh, well, Wendy must know him, Wendy said, oh, I do know someone who said that they dated Giselle, but I don't know if that's the person that Giselle is talking about. And then that's when they went, and that's when he was like, Van Jones. And then she was like, yeah, Van Jones, but she was being facetious. She wasn't really saying that it was Van Jones. She was being the way Giselle is, not saying anything really. And then that's when Wendy was just like, no, you're not his type. He likes women of integrity. No, go ahead.
Yeah, that's funny. When he said that, it's kind of kind of like a random name to pull out. Is it just because that's the only Black commentator Andy knows because he works at CNN, or is it just like because I'm just thinking like, if someone said, "Were you dating someone?" Was it Gayle King? I mean, it's kind of like a very definitive name to just pick out of the air. So I wonder if Andy did know, but anyway.
No,
I'll go with your conspiracy theory. I don't know.
No, it could have been someone, but it definitely wasn't Van Jones. I think that he was just because I think Van Jones is probably older than 37. Van Jones is probably in his 40s.
Yeah.
I would think. And to be perfectly honest,
definitely,
he's one of the only Black male commentators' names that I know off the top of my head too. Just to be perfectly honest, who's another male commentator in DC that's Black?
Don Lemon, but he's gay.
Don't.
So
but yeah, Don Lemon, Van Jones, right? That's the only two you think about, right? So I think it was more like that, but who knows?
Okay.
Who knows? Yeah.
So that and I was listening to the Danny Pellegrino. It was a podcast, whatever.
Yeah.
And he was like point blank after he reviewed the that finale. He was like, he could tell. He said Juan hates. He said that Juan hates Robin. Like he felt like by his body language, by the way he spoke to her, then he was like they should stop this storyline. They obviously hate each other, or at least Juan hates her, or something like that. And I really can't. I think this baby story is kind of insulting our intelligence in a sense. Unless you're thinking about getting a surrogate, she is not going to put her body through all of that. When you're a wanderer, then he seems like a wanderer now, and I'm sure he takes care of his sons, but he doesn't seem to be really invested into that relationship. And why bring a child into a dysfunctional situation? So she's not having a baby. And when she on the after show with Ashley was like really believing in the storyline. She was like, so what are you guys doing? Are you trying or such and such? And Robin was like, well, it's like we're not trying or something. I guess they were doing the pull-out method.
Oh, God.
The pull-out method and decided not to pull out. So they're not really doing anything. But I think that she either needs to get a real storyline or just be demoted as a friend of, because she's boring to me. Because it's kind of like, I hate to say, like a waste of space or a waste of time. Airtime, I think. And I think with Mia, I don't know, because I don't know if I can identify with her trauma, but I know that a lot of people in the foster system, a lot of times they kind of assimilate to whatever group that they're with. Like you go to so many different families and you're trying to fit in and you like this type of stuff, okay, but let me make sure that I'm this type of person so you'll love me and that you'll keep me and like me and such. And so it's like sometimes I think that maybe she's not lying, but maybe she's just trying to, like, okay, she was with Robin and Giselle in a big house.
She's trying to fit in. She's trying to fit in. Yeah. No, 100%.
Playing down her shipper pack, and especially I hated how they're going on about her vaginal surgery. First of all, it's really none of your business, and
really
it's a very intimate area.
Yeah.
And it's like I hear the women on New York talk about you have to have a vaginal rejuvenation surgery, such and such. It's all that's great, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's literally like an event that they do. They will go to the spa and be like, "Who wants a vaginal rejuvenation? Let's go!" It's like an event. It's like they hang out and they go on a spa day. But then they want to shame and bash Mia for it. Yeah, it's ridiculous. The hypocrisy is there. It's insane. So thank you so much, Diva, for joining us. I loved your perspective and all of your stuff. I appreciate you.
Thanks for allowing me. That was Diva's Minute.
Yes,
appreciate it. And,
absolutely.
See you next time, Candice. Bye.
Yeah, bye. So thank you so much, Diva, for coming up. Thank you so much to Cardi B for coming up. You're my girl. I appreciate your support. And of course, thank all of you Candy Canes for joining me during this RHOP reunion part 1. So if you had fun, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, put a comment below, and share, because a kiki is always better with community. We will be back tomorrow talking about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and more of our fun shows, so be sure to subscribe. I love you guys, and if you want, join the community. I just did some really cool new emojis, and we'll be doing a members only self-care session this weekend. So join the community so you can join us for that. Until next time, everybody, be well, take care of yourself and each other. Shout out to my mods. I appreciate your time. Thank you for holding me down. Shout out to all my Candy Canes. Thank you for spending this time with me. I had so much fun, and I cannot wait until next time. Mwah. Bye. Bye, 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 everybody.
Welcome to Sugar Pills, a practical guide to self-care, where your host, writer, actor, and producer Candy Washington helps you live a more joyful life with a cheeky dash of pop culture news. Be sure to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and join the conversation on Instagram @Candy Washington. Let's go!